Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Fancy Scientist podcast. I have a super special episode for you today. I got to interview one of my students, Melina Schack, about her experience transforming as a computer scientist into a career in wildlife, ecology, the environment. We're still working that out. Melina was actually my second student. And when I say student, I don't mean an undergraduate student in my program. About a year and a half ago, I started a program called the Successful Wildlife Professional. And she was the second person to sign up for it. She had always been interested in careers in the environment and ecology, but she didn't know how to get there. And she took computer science because it was a more safe route. So in this interview, we talk about how she changed that through the help of mentorship and being in the program. And I hope this interview encourages you to pursue your career in wildlife, environment, or ecology if that is something that you are interested in. It's never too late. Just because you didn't graduate from college with a degree in that field doesn't mean you can't be in it now. So with that being said, let's listen to the interview and I hope you enjoy. Hi, Melina. Welcome to the Fancy Scientist podcast. I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Yeah. Hi, Stephanie. Good to talk to you too.
Before we get started in some questions, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about your life before you joined the Successful Wildlife Professional? What was it like, and what were some of the things you were struggling with professionally?
Growing up and as a kid, I always wanted to work in the conservation field, but I wasn't quite sure how to go about it. I studied computer science in undergrad, and then I worked at Amazon as a software engineer, and that was good. I was making a lot of money, but feeling not very fulfilled. So I switched my job. Currently, I work at NOAA Fisheries, where I work as a web developer, writing software to help scientists collect data, analyze data, things like that. I do the field I am in more. I just feel like at the time I was trying to do more work like the scientist, more like conservation work, like the field I was in, but I wanted to change what I was doing. And I wasn't quite sure how to go about that. I talked to my coworkers about their paths and what grad school they went to and how they got into their field. So I was trying to figure out like how to copy that path. So before signing up for this class, I was talking to all these coworkers, but I felt like I had a lot of questions and I felt like I was going to apply to grad school, but I didn't want to be bothering my peers asking them so many questions. So I thought maybe I saw this program, it's a nice way to have someone to ask all these questions to, and then you're paying for it. So you don't feel like, oh, you're always bothering someone. I guess that was the main motivation for signing up for the program. And I feel like I had in the back of my mind like an idea of what I wanted to do, but not really a framework or roadmap of how to exactly do it. So kind of looking for some kind of clarity there. So that's what I was looking for before signing up for the program.
So you grew up loving the environment and wanting a job in the environment, but you didn't know how to do it?
Yeah, my parents took us to national parks, and I always liked hiking. We go to the nature talks and learning about the different habitats of the environment. So that was all quite interesting to me. But when it came time to choose what to major in college, I just went with a safer route with where I would get a job. That route was very clear to me. I didn't quite know what jobs there are in conservation, and I just knew like maybe like park ranger, things like that, which didn't seem very lucrative. And I guess I was at the time more influenced by my parents and stuff, and they weren't like super encouraging of that. So I never really explored that path earlier, maybe just starting to like now.
And then when you started at NOAA, so NOAA is a national Oceanic and Atmospheric Association. Is that what the two A's stand for?
Yeah, I think it's administration, but yeah.
Administration. Yeah. Association didn't sound right, but I didn't know what the other A was. But NOAA works a lot on, as you mentioned, like fisheries and a lot of like marine conservation, especially. So you were working at NOAA, and I think you mentioned to me that there were department
Oh, yeah.
seminars
Mhm.
going on and
Mhm.
that you were really interested in what the scientists were doing. And that's how you got re-engaged into this field.
I would say that's right. Prior to working at NOAA, I actually like didn't really know what scientists do or like what their job or anything. Like I had no idea.
Mhm.
So every Wednesday they have these talks. They're called Monster Talks or Monster Jam, where they invite a scientist, usually like a PhD or something from another college or somewhere, and they just talk about their research. And it was pretty fascinating to me, just like how they run experiments and they would like, go out in the field and collect data was really cool. And then they were like focusing on like real problems. I don't know, coming from Amazon, we would focus on how to sell more things or like how to make the
Mhm.
latency of a click faster or like things that are important to the business, but to me do seem frivolous. But when I saw these scientists talking, they're talking about water pollution or salmon or like things that seem actually quite important. So
Mhm.
that was interesting to me. And then but they all have all these credentials like PhDs, associate professors. So I was like, yeah, I have no idea like how to get there.
That's a really common challenge that people face. And that's one of the big reasons why I created the course, because like you, I just asked like everyone that I knew. And I started out first in college. So you didn't find out really until when you started working at NOAA, but in college, I would ask people, although I found out later in my senior year, junior, senior year. And then I had 3 internships. So each of those internships, I had a new batch of people to ask. So I wouldn't ever annoy somebody too much. And especially at Disney World, I worked with lots of different scientists. So I could ask a lot of different people. And so now you're still employed at NOAA, right?
Yeah.
But you also are now in graduate school. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So it's like a part time or it's like geared to working professionals. Right now, my classes are on the weekend and then maybe potentially at night. It allows me to work and go to school. I just started in August this program at the University of San Francisco in environmental management. And I'm only taking one class right now. I'm taking ecology. It's wrapping up right now. I just finished like the take home final yesterday.
Oh, wow.
But it's been pretty interesting. I definitely work, so I have to set aside time for that. I like talk to people and they're like, "Oh my god, like you have to go to class on Saturday and it's almost like a whole work day. It's 9 to 4." But yeah, I like don't mind because I feel like I'm doing something productive and something that I've always wanted to study, so I don't mind that. I think overall the class has been pretty interesting. We only met 4 times, but the professor would bring people in. So we met someone who works at the Presidio and went on a walk there, and some other alumni from the program, and then some guy who works with the Bird Society or whatever.
Oh,
So yeah,
Audubon.
yeah, Audubon. So yeah, it's been interesting because yeah, she showed us like what different people are doing, and then yeah, ecology in general has been pretty interesting too. Although it's a lot of reading and writing, which I haven't done in a while, so I had to get used to that. But other than that, yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, when I was in graduate school, I was surprised by how much classes are not really like classes as when you go to undergrad. I think a lot of people think that, like, I was just talking to somebody today who was thinking about going to graduate school, but they were apprehensive because they got so burnt out in undergrad. And I told them, I was like, it is a lot of work, but it's a different kind of work. Like you're not studying for tests. It's more like a job because your research is a job. If you're doing a thesis or a dissertation, you actually get a stipend for it in most cases. And so most of your classes then have been like reading and discussion and writing papers and things like that.
Yeah, so I've just taken the one
Oh
class.
yeah, one class, sorry.
Yeah, it's reading paper, yeah, like scientific papers, writing summaries on it, and then we read our textbook, have quizzes on that. So yeah, that's what it's been. My next 2 classes are environmental chemistry and quantitative methods. So I think it's more mathy, so maybe it'll be
Mm-hmm.
more like, not so much reading and writing. But yeah, this one has been like that.
And you specifically applied for this program because you were interested, or you loved that the program set you up for a government job afterward. That's what it seemed to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see scientists at my work, no, I guess when I've gone to talks, yeah, I've heard people in academia, and I don't think that's for me. Like, so I wanted more like a applied science kind of route. Yeah, some role like in the state or federal government where you're kind of managing resources. Yeah, looking more for that. So that's why. And then yeah, the program, I like that you can also work at the same time. But yeah, and then that's the one I applied to. I didn't explore too much. I don't know, a lot of people at my work they went the way where they get paid to go to school. Like I'm paying to go to school. So I didn't explore it too much, but yeah, I don't know. That might have been a good option too. I don't really know. But
Yeah, and you can always do that in the future. The main difference is one is just more research based and you write a thesis, and the other is not. And it's more, like you mentioned, like reading and writing, and they give you more applied work. And like you said, you can still graduate from that and be a scientist. I know you mentioned that you were unsure of some of the career opportunities out there. Has this helped you at all with understanding what's out there? And have you clarified more of what you want to do?
yeah, so I think it's still starting, but yeah, her bringing those people in has definitely helped. I think yeah, the last class she had an alumni who works for the Army Corps doing something like wetlands. I don't know, it's pretty interesting. So that yeah, that was like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was like yeah, I could definitely see myself in that sort of role. But yeah, still I feel I know more, but still like a bit unclear. But yeah, I'm gonna talk to my advisor later
Mm-hmm.
today. I'm also hoping like that will help. But yeah, it's also been like, I don't know, like 2 months into the program. Maybe hopefully like, I don't know, maybe like at least a year in or something. Maybe I'll know more info by then. Yeah, still a bit unclear, but yeah, I guess I'm learning more. But yeah.
If I had asked you, let me see, a year and a half ago, I think. So you were actually, I think, my second student to sign up for the program. So a year and a half ago or 2 years ago that you would be in graduate school, would you be shocked by that, or what would you think?
Yeah, so it's weird. So, like, in the back of my mind, I always thought I would go back to grad school. But then when it actually came to it, like applying and like thinking about maybe having to quit my job or things like that, then I was like, oh my God, no, I can't do that. I need to keep working. But in the back of my mind, like I thought I would always do that, but like in practice, I don't know, it was scary and hard for me to commit to. So I guess a part of my mind knew it, but another part of my mind was like, no, like that's such a drastic change. Yeah, that's not happening. I guess both like shocked and not shocked, I guess, if that makes any sense. But yeah.
Did you think you would go to grad school for an environmental career or just graduate school in general?
Yeah, friend of mine. Yeah, I guess since I started working at NOAA, I think like maybe a year or two back, I was thinking of applying to grad school, but I don't know. I just didn't really know. I don't know. It's kind of a lot of work with all the application and everything. And then I think the deadline passed, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, okay, this year I'll do it. And talked to a bunch of coworkers, and then I don't know. I guess I just never got around to it. And then I guess yeah, with this program, finally actually did it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I had a hard time committing to the idea because I felt like it was such a big change. Like I would have to, yeah, it's like a changing your current path. So that's I don't know, that was hard for me, even though I knew I always wanted to do it. But yeah.
Yeah, it's scary for anyone to step out of their comfort zone and try something new. And I know it's something that you went back and forth on for a while. So I'm so happy you decided to do it, because even if you decide it's not for you, at least you'll know that information and you won't be 60 years old and being like, what if I had done that? So even if, again, you do spend the money and decide that's not for you, you'll have that answer.
Yeah. 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 That's been Yeah, that's been good. Yeah, I feel like even now I go back and forth, but as I've taken the program more, I feel like, yeah, this is like the right path, especially as I do more homework. And yeah, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't even mind doing like this. Like, I kind of interesting reading about these things. And I'm like, yeah, like yesterday I was like spending, I don't know, 5 hours writing this thing. And I'm like, I don't even mind. So I'm like, that probably means something. But yeah.
Yeah, and writing is such a huge part of wildlife work. So that's good that you like writing.
Yeah, or just reading about the different things to write about was interesting. But yeah.
And so you mentioned in the beginning that the main reason why you joined the Successful Wildlife Professional was because you wanted somebody to ask questions to. Is that correct?
Yeah, just yeah, I guess like a mentor pretty much because yeah, pretty much just someone to ask questions and advice and guidance. Yeah.
And can you explain to people out there how that worked between us, how I was able to mentor you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the program, Stephanie assigns like online, she has a bunch of online material out there that you can go through. And then in addition to that, yeah, there's the mentoring aspect, which I think like is like once a month or something. You would have calls, Zoom calls, and then beforehand you can submit like any questions you have or things you're like wondering about, and then she'll set aside time on the call to address the. So yeah, one thing that was really useful was yeah, I like decided to apply to this program. So yeah, I needed to write an essay. So I was able to like yeah, write my first draft and submit it to her, and then she like went over it like really thoroughly, like line by line, and put comments, which was super helpful. So that really helped me because yeah, I didn't really know what they're looking for, like what I should be like empathizing about from my background or anything like that. I was like, yeah, I had no idea. But yeah, she has experience with that. So that was really helpful. I think that was like the most helpful thing. And then, yeah, just asking questions in general that, I don't know, any quandaries you may have. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I loved working with you from the mentoring perspective because you came in and you were just unsure of which direction you wanted to go in and if you did want to do this and then just different questions come up as you move through the different parts like you decided one of your earlier questions was about grad school and then we looked at grad school programs and if this was a good fit for you. And then when it came to applying, it was about your application and writing your personal statement. And you actually did so well on yours that they gave you a scholarship. So I was super excited to see that as well. You not only got in, but you got a scholarship. And you just never know like what pops up along your journey. So yeah, you're right. You can always ask me questions. And we do meet twice a month. That's the mentoring schedule where you can ask me, yeah, anything that's on your mind or you need help with. What would you say to somebody who's on the fence for enrolling in the program?
I would just tell, yeah, like, I would just emphasize like the mentoring part where, yeah, I feel like you're very invested in your students and
Thank you.
honestly care about them. So, yeah, you definitely spend time to give good advice. So, I think that in itself is pretty worth it. But yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And like one of the things that I personally like about mentoring is that because I'm not associated with anyone, like I'm not associated with a university, or well, I guess that's really where your advisors would come from, that I don't have any agenda. Really, my agenda is like to make you guys happy. So if you decided, no, I don't even want to go to graduate school, I'm going to stick to computer science. To me, that would be a win for you as well, like knowing that was the right decision for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there anything else you wanted to share with the audience about your life now or about how you've changed before we wrap up?
No, nothing much. Just, I feel like, I don't know, I guess I would just say I feel like I'm on some path and I feel like it's the right path, but I don't really know where it will lead or anything like that. That part is unclear, but yeah, I just feel like I'm on a right track, at least for the next 2 years. I don't know what will happen after that, but yeah, that's how I'm feeling now. Yeah.
Good. I'm so excited to see what happens to you. And maybe in 2 years, we'll have you for another interview to see what path you took.
That's it.
Okay, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Melina, once again for sharing your story. I had so much fun interviewing you, and I just love hearing about your progress in graduate school, and I can't wait to see the amazing things that you do in your career. If you are interested in the Successful Wildlife Professional Program, want to see if it's a good fit for you, or just want to get some more information on it, head over to fancyscientist.com. You can sign up on the wait list to be the first to know if you go to the link stephanieschuttler.com backslash SWP waitlist. You can also go on fancyscientist.com. There's an opportunity to schedule a call with me. We can chat one-on-one to see if it is the right fit for you, if it's the right time for you. And the Successful Wildlife Professional has been so much fun for me to create and to work with students because I am able to give them everything that I wish I knew before I started this career. I have been in this career now for almost 20 years, and let me tell you, hindsight gives you so much wisdom, so much knowledge. And in your undergraduate experience and even your graduate experience, you will learn research, you will learn about this field, but you don't necessarily learn how to get a job. And I've actually talked to over 100 people now, and I've heard from so many of them that they were not taught these things in school. So if you don't have a mentor and you're interested in being mentored, if you are trying to figure out this career, you don't know how to do it, if you're like someone like Melina who had no idea like what the steps were, or if you're someone who's in graduate school or in this career and wants to ensure their success, really wants to make sure that they get their dream job, then check out the Successful Wildlife Professional. I'd love to see if you are a good fit for the program. Thanks, guys, for listening, and have a great day. Be nice to animals, of course. We all love animals, and be nice to each other. Bye.